the only job engines in some countries. The last few years have seen a very, very positive sentiment here in India as well. There's optimism amongst the youth. There's a thought of being a job creator and not a job seeker. And again, this is different from what it was maybe 10 or 15 years back. The appetite for taking risks is higher, and more people are breaking away from their traditional career paths. We are now characterized as one of the 3 Bs, as Travis, who was here, a global CEO in the last few days, the 3 Bs of innovation with the Bay Area, Beijing, and Bangalore. So the startup ecosystem is here, innovation is here. But what does that mean? As startups flourish, there's bound to be disruption. What that means for existing companies and existing industries is companies have to accept change and adapt. Companies will need to focus not on fighting startups, not on fighting disruption, but trying to out-execute, outdo the nimbleness and the quick-paced nature of startups. Change is inevitable. Over time, every new idea has the right to get disrupted. Companies that do well will continue to innovate and outgrow other companies in their space. A classic example in the US is Blockbuster and Netflix, for those of you who are familiar with that. Blockbuster was a retail chain. We had multiple retail stores with DVD. Netflix came, was disrupted Blockbuster in that space with mail order DVDs, so sending DVDs through mail. Netflix had to disrupt itself to stay competitive and shut down its mail order DVD and becoming a streaming business. So you have to continue to disrupt, you have to disrupt yourself to stay relevant in today's economy. So everybody has to adapt with the times. What that also means for laws and regulations is that the need to keep pace and be progressive. In most cases, technology will be faster than the change of pace of regulations. I'll give you an example from our industry. So when cars were invented, they were seen as a disruption, almost 100 years back. There was a law that there had to be a person waving a flag to walk in front of the cart. That was a law to protect the horse carriage industry at that time. And we all know where that has gone. Again, we're very fortunate to have a very supportive government. 3 days back, as we just talked about, the Honorable Prime Minister laid out a very bold and positive vision for Startup India. He stressed on how less regulation was required to let the startup ecosystem thrive and not more regulation. And it's great to see such progressive and positive thinking from our country. Third, what that means for startups themselves is they have to solve 2 problems. They have to be a painkiller and not a vitamin. To build a business on solid fundamentals and a business that has positive unit economics, even though it may take time for investment to get to that steady state profitability. And from every startup's perspective, always have a champion's mindset, because a startup is not easy. A startup is not easy with all the obstacles that one faces. So always have a champion's mindset. Again, what that means is never give up. Always fight till the very last breath. Always fight till every ounce of energy that you have. Another benefit of disruption is many startups will solve problems that will bring about social benefit and problems that are facing our society today. The Honorable Prime Minister again said, we've got 1 million problems in India, and we often like to complain, this is broken, that is broken, there are 1 million problems. But we've got 1 billion minds to try and solve those problems. In Uber's case, we started out to solve a very simple problem, which was to get from point A to point B in the most convenient and affordable way. What we stumbled upon is something bigger, is tackling congestion and pollution through technology-enabled carpooling. All of us are aware of the pollution in Delhi, in the NCR region, and one of the main problems today. As we look at cars today, and as we look at cars on the road, 70% of the cars have 1 person in the car. So how do we enable carpooling? How do we enable technology-enabled carpooling so that we have 2 or 3 or 4 people in a single car.